Although the M in MVVM stands for model, the way that we create a model in an MVVM-based application isn't very different from building it for any other application. So far, not a lot of differences, you may be thinking, and you would be correct saying that. But let us now move on to the next building block, and you will see that things change here a little bit. I will now introduce you to the view model. In fact, I will introduce you to two view models. View models are just plain C# classes with no reference to UI elements whatsoever. That makes them easy to test using unit tests later on. And why will I be introducing two view models, you may be asking? Well, great question. I will be creating for our application two screens. Think back of the finished application we saw earlier in this course. We will have a list screen and a detail screen. In general, each screen or view will correspond with one view model. Hence, we will create a view model for the overview screen and another one for the detail screen. Once we add the view model, we will start relying on the view model quite heavily. Data binding will always happen between two objects. The source for the data binding will be the view model, here the one on the right. On the view model class, we will expose state, so data. That will be done in the form of a property. The target for the data binding will be our view, so here on the left. Within the view, we will have several UI controls, such as an entry, the Xamarin Forms equivalent for a text box. That will bind its text property onto a property of the source, so the view model. Using the two-way binding mode, data entered in the entry in the view can also flow in the other direction, so from the view into the view model. When changes happen in the view model, so the source for the data binding, these changes need to be picked up by the view. For this to work, the source of the binding, so the view model, will need to raise an event. This is built-in functionality with data binding in Xamarin Forms. When the source for the binding implements the iNotify property changed interface, the data-bound UI will automatically listen for changes coming from the source, so the view model. When the event is raised, data binding will update the UI accordingly. The iNotify property changed interface plays an important role in this entire concept. It contains the property changed event, which will be raised when the value of a property is changed. In the case of MVVM, we will need to raise this event when the value of a view model property is changed. This way, the data-bound view will be notified and we will see the changes in the view immediately. I hope you see here already that data binding plays a very important role in making MVVM work. This was just a refresher on the most vital parts of data binding in Xamarin Forms. If you're not fully clear on these, refer to the data binding course in the Xamarin Forms part here on Pluralsight.